Singaporeans have expressed concerns about the rise in cases recently. And as we explained last Friday, this was not unexpected. We knew that there would be more cases once we open up and resume activities. What is of concern to us is not just the absolute number of cases, but the rate at which the virus is spreading. And that's the reproduction rate, or R. Currently, the R is more than 1. Cases are doubling every week. And if we continue on this trajectory of infection, it means we could have 1,000 cases in 2 weeks or possibly 2,000 cases in a month. And we know from the experience of other countries that when cases rise so sharply, there will be many more ICU cases and also people succumbing to the virus. It's not just the unvaccinated seniors, because even for vaccinated persons, there will be a small proportion of them falling severely ill. And if you have a very high infection caseload, that small proportion will translate to a sizable number of ICU cases and eventually fatalities. So we have to slow down the transmission rate and bring R down. With all of these measures, we hope that we can help to slow down transmission without having to go back to the heightened alert or the circuit breaker. As I said last week, these are last resort measures that we will try our best to refrain from using them. But we should not rule them out entirely. And if, despite our best efforts, we continue to see, or we see serious cases in ICU or needing oxygen going up sharply, then we may have no choice but to adopt a more tightened posture. The increase in cases that we are seeing recently is not unexpected, because they arise from the resumption of activities that have taken place over the recent weeks. And as we have said before, we are shifting our approach. Our main focus is not just the daily case numbers, because many of them are vaccinated persons who become infected and they have mild or even no symptoms. Instead, our focus is on the smaller number of infected persons who need supplementary oxygen or ICU care, and this figure remains stable and under control. In the past, when we have a situation of such high daily cases, we would have looked to measures like a heightened alert or even a circuit breaker to control the infection. But we are in a new phase where we have a high level of vaccine coverage to protect Singaporeans, and we are now moving into a phase of living with COVID and becoming COVID resilient. And so we assess that there is no need to impose tightened restrictions. In fact, we would only revert to such a tightened posture as a last resort to prevent our hospital system from being overwhelmed. At the same time, we do not intend to make any new opening moves at this juncture, because there is a time lag between the onset of infections to serious illness. And so we want to take some time to monitor the situation. Also, we have recently announced a whole series of pilots, be it vaccinated travel or allowing our workers in the dormitories to be out in the community. So we want to allow these pilots to continue over the next few days and weeks before we contemplate further moves. Meanwhile, we will continue with aggressive testing and contact tracing. So even as cases rise, through testing and tracing, we will be able to slow down the transmission and avoid uncontrollable surges in cases that can easily overwhelm our hospital system.